Win from 300 balls. That's in the air, but it's 4 runs. That's the first boundary for Kirsten. He's worked that into the gap. Hayden just picks that up inside the rope. McGrath to Kirsten. That's too short, and it's been dispatched before. Kirsten moves into double figures with those runs. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Well, that has to be close.
Superb fielding. He only had a small target to aim at, but took aim and hit perfectly.
That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Palace.
South Africa will be looking to blast away from the start with fielding restrictions in place.
The required run rate is around 6.5 and over. Gibbs is off the mark. He's got it into the gap. Tullis facing. Didn't quite get hold of that one properly.
Run. Go!
48 overs are left in the innings. McGrath to bowl to Cullis. The required run rate has crept up to around 6.5 and over. He's gone over the top with that, and it looks like 4 runs. Super shot by Cullis.
Well, that was a pretty poor delivery. It just sat up and asked to be smashed.
McGrath continues. That's 4 more. Cullis moves into double figures with those runs. A long hop and punish. There's a shot straight out of the coaching manual.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
Out 4.
Well, he just picked the fielder out perfectly with that shot.
Gibbs goes for only 3.
South Africa will be looking to blast away from the start with fielding restrictions in place.
Lee to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 6.5 and over. Lee to Cullis.
Go! Yes! Go!
Lee at the start of his run-up.
Yes!
The batsman will have to run these. Cullis has now moved into the 20s. The batsmen are coming back for a second. The sweeper picks up. Cullis waiting at the striker's end. And 6.
Another one of those, and this bowler could be out of the attack.
46 overs are left for South Africa. The required run rate is around 6.5 and over. He's found the gap with that one. That's the first boundary for Holland.
Go! Waiting!
Stopped by Lee. McGrath continues.
Go!
Comfortably held by Bevan.
A slight fumble, but safely taken in the end.
Good stroke for 4. That's the first boundary for Rhodes. That's the end of the 5th over. Lee to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 6.5 and over. That's too short, and it's been dispatched for 4. Cullis really punishes anything short.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
Waiting!
That's racing away to the boundary. Placed that superbly.
That was a great shot to watch. He just leant into it and stroked it to the boundary for 4.
Pushed into the gap. Batsmen are coming back for a 3rd. That's cut off by Warren. There's a mix-up with the batsman.
Go! 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 Waiting!
That over helped the run rate somewhat. Now the run rate stands at just over 6.5 and over.
Waiting!
Oh, that's a really superb shot. That was a nice bit of timing.
Well, with that timing early in his innings, he'll just gain so much confidence.
McGrath at the start of his run-up.
Waiting!
There it goes. Rhodes moves into double figures with those runs. That's gone high in the air. That wasn't a very good delivery.
Oh, great shot. That was 4 from the moment it left the bat.
and 6. That came right off the middle of the bat.
The bowler doesn't look too happy about it. There might be a little bit more in the next one.
That's a good shot. Rhodes has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. 22 runs were picked up from that over by McGrath. Lee to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. Didn't quite get hold of that one properly. Stopped by Gillespie.
Waiting!
Brilliantly caught. Hollis has gone for 38.
For those of you watching at home, that's a good example of how to take a catch.
Klusner awaits his first ball.
Waiting!
A shot. That's the first boundary for Klusner. Lee at the start of his run-up. Well held.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Klusner goes for only 4.
Well, he didn't get many out there.
The next batsman in is the right-handed Pollock. 42 overs are left for South Africa. The new batsman comes in at the non-striker's end. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. That is an excellent catch.
That was moving pretty quickly and he did well to cling onto it.
Rhodes is making his way back to the pavilion.
He got himself settled and then gave his wicket away. He'll be disappointed with that.
Boucher comes in at number 8. Boucher takes his place at the crease. It's in the air. That's the first boundary for Boucher. McGrath is back in the attack.
Waiting!
That's straight up in the air. Hardly seemed to hit that, yet it sailed over the ropes.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
McGrath is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. Well, that was 6 as soon as he hit it.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
That's gone high in the air. Boucher has now moved into the 20s. That's gone high in the air. The crowd were brought to their feet by that shot.
That was a great shot to watch. He just leant into it and stroked it to the boundary for 4.
41 overs are left for South Africa. Now the run rate stands at just over 5.5 and over. Pollock is off the mark. Fielded by Gillespie. Boucher is now facing. A long hop and punish. He picked the length quickly with that one.
Fantastic shot there. He knew it was 4 as soon as he struck it.
It's in the air. Boucher very quickly onto that one.
The drive is a beautiful shot to watch when played well, and that was a perfect example.
Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Gillespie just picks that up inside the rope. That's the end of the 10th over. McGrath to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over. There it goes. picked up very early by Boucher.
Yes, that was a lovely shot. He will have enjoyed that one.
Boucher is now on strike.
Waiting!
That's a good shot. You can't afford to bowl at him there.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
McGrath continues.
Waiting!
That's too short. 4 runs, picked up very early by Boucher.
That's not the right line to bowl to this batsman. He'll punish anything there.
Waiting!
He's got that one over the infield and away for 4. Partnership for the 7th wicket is now 52. That's gone high in the air. Hasn't been easy by any means, but he can enjoy this moment. His 50 has come up off 13 balls.
Waiting!
It's high in the air. Picked up very early by Boucher.
That was a wonderful shot. He looks in great shape out there.
39 overs are left for South Africa. We're about to see the first bowling change. The required run rate is around 5 and over. Played into the gap. That's straight up in the air.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
Boucher waiting at the striker's end. There it goes. Beautifully played.
Well, you don't see that shot played much better than that.
That's straight up in the air. He found the gap with precision.
Beautifully played. Head over the ball, weight forward, a textbook shot.
It's in the air. That was 4 the moment it left his back.
What a ripper. The crowd enjoyed that one.
38 overs are left for South Africa. Pollock facing. Now the run rate stands at just over 4.5 and over. It's straight at Lee. That's straight up in the air. He smashed that right out of the ground.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Oh, he's put it down. That's gone high in the air. They were diving for cover with that one.
Another one of those, and this bowler could be out of the attack.
That's 4 runs. Pollock has now moved into the 20s. That over cost 16 runs. Boucher is now on strike. The required run rate is around 4 and over. It looked as if he was home to me. He smacked that over the top and been rewarded with 4. Super shot by Boucher.
What a ripper. The crowd enjoyed that one.
Warren at the start of his run-up. There it goes. Partnership for the 7th wicket is now 103. Warren to bowl to Boucher. South Africa really up against it now. It's in the air. That was a superb placement.
He played that shot perfectly.
12 runs came from that over by Warne McGrath to bowl to Pollock. The run rate stands at just under 4 and over. It's in the air. Played that with superb timing.
For all the kids watching out there, that is a perfect example of how to play the shot.
Out. No. Dropped. The fielder will cut that off. It's high in the air. Hardly seemed to hit that, yet it sailed over the ropes.
The fielder just watched it. Going, going, going.
The total is now 6 for 5. It's in the air. Looks in good form out there.
That was a good shot. He saw it early and got into position quickly.
That's gone high in the air. He certainly saw that one early.
Beautifully played. Head over the ball, weight forward, a textbook shot.
Now the run rate stands at just over 3.5 and over. A cracking stroke. He must be starting to think of 3 figures now. That's 2 full, and it's been punished. Just over pitched by Warne.
Poor bowling. His captain won't be too happy with him after that delivery.
It's high in the air. Super shot by Boucher.
What a good placement. No one at home, over the top for 4.
Warne at the start of his run-up. Warne continues. Warne continues. Hit straight to a fielder. That over helped the run rate somewhat. Now the run rate stands at just over 3.5 and over. That's straight up in the air. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
Great shot by Pollock. He placed that superbly.
He played that shot perfectly.
McGrath at the start of his run-up. McGrath to bowl to Pollock. That's gone high in the air. 33 overs are left in the innings. Now the run rate stands at just over 3 and over. Hit straight to a fielder. Pushed into the gap. The batsman didn't look at all comfortable there.
That's good spin bowling. Give the ball a bit of air and tempt the batsman into the drive or coming down the pitch.
Warne continues.
Waiting!
The fielder will cut that off. This is a really vital innings by Boucher. That's 100 for Boucher.
Waiting!
Out. He's been caught. Pollock goes for 48.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
That was a fine innings from Pollock.
Well, with the fall of that wicket, they'll be hoping to mop up the tail quickly.
32. Overs are left for South Africa. The new batsman comes in at the non-striker's end. The required run rate has crept up to around 3.5 and over. It's straight to a fielder.
Waiting!
That's gone high in the air. Short and smash for 4. That's the first boundary for Kemp. Superb shot. He picked the length quickly with that one.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away.
Kemp is now facing. Comfortably taken, no worries. Kemp goes for only 8. Donald facing his first ball. He's really given that a whack. 6 runs. The bowler won't like that one little bit.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
31. Overs are left in the innings. Warne to bowl his leg spin. The run rate stands at just under 3 and over. Over pitched and 4. He picked the length quickly with that one.
Perfectly played. He got right over that ball and played it with a nice straight bat.
Donald waiting at the striker's end.
Waiting!
He's worked that into the gap. Warne is back in the attack.
Waiting!
That's racing away for 4. That really was excellent timing.
The batsman wasn't going to miss that opportunity. He was on it in a flash.
That's the end of the 20th over. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate is around 2.5 and over. That is an excellent catch. Donald goes for only 7.
The batsman will be kicking himself over that. It wasn't a great shot and he looked to be in good form.
Stopped by Harvey. Adams is now on strike.
Go! Go!
Stopped by Hayden. Warne to bowl his leg spin. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Warren to bowl to Boucher.
Waiting!
Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Gillespie out at long on.
No! No!
Hit straight to a fielder.
Waiting!
The batsman will have to run these. .28 overs are left in the innings. The new batsman won't have to face just yet. The required run rate has crept up to around 3 and over. That's straight up in the air. Boucher is looking to punish any short deliveries.
It was a good shot, but the bowler shouldn't be bowling at him.
It's in the air. Just over-pitched by Gillespie.
That was good batting. He picked his spot, didn't try to smash it, just stroked it through the gap.
Boucher facing. Oh, what a catch, Martin.
The batsman will be kicking himself over that. It wasn't a great shot and he looked to be in good form.
So to sum up then, Australia win by 78 runs.